Good morning all. In previous section we see about the how to tune the data, how to tune the query, how to optimize the data, and at we evaluate all the things at a database level. But in a real time we have applications. This is our application, and application always talk with the databases, and here we are storing all the data. So earlier we see about how to optimize SQL, how to optimize our database, all the things, but we also need to optimize this way between how to store the data into database. We'll go in details in today's session how to do that. This operation we are calling as a save and update operation. Means if we are adding a new data, that operation is named as a save, and if existing data we are is updating, that operation name as update. So through the MySQL, currently for this session we are considering this is a Java application, and our database is a SQL database, which is a MySQL database. Okay, so there are multiple ways to store the data. Means multiple ways. I'm saying that in a single record, if you want to save the SQL record, there are multiple operations. For batch insert, there are multiple operations, and the load data, and how to verify that in which approach we are. In whatever approach we are storing the data, what are the approaches? These are the today's content session. To store the single record in a database, the multiple people, like this session is attended by beginner to the expertise level. So we start from beginner, how beginner approach this problem, and how expertise approach this problem. but single record, like Java provides means if you are using Java as a tool, currently multiple large organization or enterprise operation are using Java with a Spring Boot. So in a Spring Boot, by default, they are providing JPA as a library. In that library, what happened? We just need to define the entity. Means suppose I have employee class, so I need to define employee as an entity and a repository for employee class. So if I create the repository of this employee class, I just need to call the same method. Like here I mentioned like repository dot save. This is a function and this is our entity. So whatever entity we are storing, if you just dot save, that directly goes into database and it stores. This is a single SQL. Like if you check on how query execute at a database, you will get to see that insert into ABC is the table name, suppose, and inside bracket the column name, like employee name, employee ID, and employee name. These are the two column. So, and in bracket values, and whatever values you are is assigned to this object. Suppose this is a class employee with one ID and Ram is the name. Okay, so in these values you are getting to see inside this like 1 and equal to Ram. This way query get executed. Suppose if you want to update, so how we are going to update this record? So in a JPA, this is also save, but while updating the record, like name Ram to the Ram Kishan, you just need to put the same, like 1 with the Ram Kishan. So Ram Kishan. So this way the Ram get updated with the Ram Kishan. So save is used for both the operation, like save and update operation. This is a single save operation. Okay. But this is not the always the case. Like we are updating an employee, but suppose if you are working with a Flipkart or Amazon and you have 10 items in your cart and you need to update the quantity or a price or a taxes related information, then single query takes long time and the checkout time goes beyond 10 minutes. So this is not the best approach everywhere to update the single record. So to solve that problem, batch insert came into picture, like batch insert. So a batch insert means whatever query we are pairing, that query resides in a Java application, our application, and when you say update or a batch update or a batch save, then all the queries directly goes into your database, not a single query. Here each query goes into database and fire, but here all the queries that they are preparing Java inside, like just Spring inside prepare the batch and execute this batch. So what happened, the single queries goes into database, that took time, but in a batch operation we are preparing the batch and then sending to database. So transportation costs apart from that preparation and execution get drastically reduced. Okay, so if there is a 0 to 9 record, if we consider, then we can use the single record. But if you have it means a 10 to 10,000 10k record, so you can simply create a 1k batch or a 5k batch to reduce the time. That will complete it within a seconds to that operation. That's why batch update or a batch insert update came into picture. Okay, so next thing is how this we can do in a Java. So that's the simple question, because we get to know what is the batch update thing, but how can we achieve using the Java? So in a Java there is called as an entity manager, means multiple ways, but we will check on an entity manager and how we can solve this problem with the JDBC template. So in an entity manager, you will create an entity manager of your database in a Java, like simple create the transaction, create the entity manager for your database. In our case, temp is suppose database, so we created entity manager for temp and persist whatever object we are created, that just need to hit that, like contact is the object and we are hitting here. But this will work in a single case, but if you want to batch update, then inside for loop, just create a for loop, whatever for loop, you just iterate it, and that persist, here you need to call persist.contact, and after completion of your for loop, you just need to call here like these functions like entity manager flush and clear. When you say flush, all the data, all the queries which till flush, all the queries resides in a memory or resides in a Hibernate or a JPA you can call. And after you say flush, that goes into database and execute it, and they give us a return combinedly, means how many rows are updated and how many rows are saved. That operation result into us. Okay, that's the using entity manager. We can update the batch update or batch save data. Apart from JDBC template, also one option where you can do the batch update thing, like JDBC template. This is the object of your JDBC template. Similar way you can the transaction manager and JDBC template you can create. And here is the method which is say batch update or a batch save. Both are method are available, so you can use any of these. And here is your query where you say like insert into. We already created like insert into ABC, employee name and values. Here are the actually placeholder in batch update command. So these are the placeholder, two placeholder which replaced by JDBC template internally for your thing for your query. So if you write here query like insert whole query like similar like this is this insert into ABC, employee ID, employee name, values, and here we are putting one and RAM. Instead of here we are just putting placeholders of that, and after placeholder we just pass here as a list of the employee. In this list, employee object have 1 Ram, 2 Sachin, 3 XYZ. That way we are passing the list, and by default JDBC template internally create a query for you and multiple queries for you and hit into database and provide you result for that. This is another approach for batch update. Okay, okay, this is work okay till 10,000 or 5,000 or for 1 million we can say 1 million also you can achieve this first, but that required some minutes of work. But okay, suppose if you and 1 million required 20 batches of 5,000, so one batch took 1 second, then also 20 seconds will took. And if you want to store like 10 million data into database, that time 2,000 batches is required. Okay, and 2,000 batches in 2,000 seconds, that goes beyond 15 minutes, and our application it's not taking that 15 minutes. We don't have leverage. So how to tackle this problem? Like if you at a single time you need to save 10 million row within minute or 1 or 2 minutes or maximum 3 minutes is the SLA for your API or a service. So how can you achieve that? So for that we have load data as a tool where we can achieve that. Okay, so how load data works, we have the example here. So first we consider what is a load data. Load data is a simple thing. We are loading data into database, not firing the queries, because queries take a time. Okay, so this is a CSV file, and CSV file name and ID, 2 columns are there, and we are preparing this CSV and directly loading into your table. Okay, this is the simple thing, means you just push this file on your database instance and load that CSV into database, not hitting single SQL. So this is a load data query, means you are preparing a CSV with a desired column, whatever column you have into table, and just you are pushing into database. So this way you can achieve this load data. But for load data you need the native query execution, because if you check the load data syntax, that look like this: load data and then table name, then load data CSV file, means if temp /my/emp.csv, this is the CSV, and you need to pass the table name, then CSV split, means if this is double coded, then you need to pass double quote as a separator, then column is for your separator. On a new line, if you are getting new record, that compression also you need to pass. All these things are in place. I will put in a description section the syntax of a load data query, but it's easily get to find that how load data command is look like. The problem is problem or description. You just need to prepare a native query, because here native query is required. No tools which are providing a load data as a function. Like here we are getting save as a function, persist as a function, then batch update as a function, but load data is not providing any function. So you just first need to create an entity manager. Earlier we created like this, and .create native query, and here you need to put like load data whole command and the CSV file location. And if you hit that first CSV file, push it into your database, and the CSV load into your system. So for my solution or my problem, when I face this problem, I need to store 10 million record. So I achieve using load data, and that happen within a 2 minute time is required to load 10 million record with the load data. But if I prefer the batch update, then it time goes beyond the 20 minutes. So that's why we are going with the load data, not with the 10 million. So yeah, just to summarize, we discuss about the single record insertion, batch update insertion, and when we use load data. Load replace is just an update command. Load data we are using for insert, and load here this is for update. Okay, yeah. So this is the summary. But okay, multiple people can came with this kind of problem, like, okay, I implemented this, but how can I get to know that whatever approach I'm choosing, that really getting executed on DB? Because in a log, okay, in a log I just get to know the query is executed. Because if you check, like this is our Java application. Okay, whatever logging we are, that's the simple queries. Okay, in between we have this Spring Boot as a converter. Spring Boot have implicitly JPA thing. and then combining these, they are connecting with the database and storing the data. Okay, so these level we are just logging the things, but how can I check at this level that if I passing the query in a 5 batches, means 5 queries in a single batch, so how can check at this level, like whatever query I am hitting, it's getting in the same way. So for this I prepare this, like you just log into your console, like MySQL console, like use temp as a database. Temp is a database, like I say that use temp means temp is my database name, then hit the show process list is a command. So show process list provide you the whatever processes are running on your MySQL instance. So here the my processes, after that I hit one command like select star from that query I am getting at this row. So this is the query. So similar way, when you are hitting through the application, you just hit the show process list here, like show process list, and you will get to know how query look like. Is it in a single query, or it's the what is it? It's a single query, or it's came into batches, like insert into whatever column you have, and after that value there are multiple brackets because this is the batch query look like. This is the 4 query batch. So record 1, record 2, record 3, and record 4. This should be look like. So apart from that, load data also you can check, like query here, is it a load data or what kind of query is hitting into the database. That way you can easily check at this end. So yeah, that's the basic thing we check in today's session. Yeah, we as the time moves, we goes deeper into that and check what are the new options if you get. Yeah, thanks all. Yeah, bye.